Now you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine on the web at iWineRadio.com. Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWineRadio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes radio icon and scroll down to News and Talk Directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWine Radio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there. It's always a true pleasure and an honor to be able to make the acquaintance of families who have been farming for many generations, and that is in fact the case with our guests right now on Wine and Dine. We're talking to the Merrill family. Dana Merrill is 7th generation. His son Matt is 8th generation. They co-founded, along with their wives, the Pomar Junction Vineyard and Winery. And what caught my attention that I want to share with you in particular for so many people who are interested in, sustainability and just being aware of what they're eating, they're drinking, they recently had the pleasure of being able to embrace renewable energy with a USDA grant to be able to put solar panels. And let me start by asking, because I would imagine that this was a process. Dana, was it you or Matt? Who was the one that was behind and was this something you had to apply for? Yes,
it was. Excuse me. We were actually invited to a local seminar that, there might have been a dozen wineries and other farmers in attendance, and it was put on by a rep from USDA and a rep from one of the solar companies that actually was REC that ended up doing the job for us. And it was helpful because we were introduced to what programs were available, and they brought the program to us rather than us having to find it somewhere. So it made it a lot more understandable to be able to go to a meeting and hear them talk about it.
And I understand that you also recently added solar to your house, and it was very tangible. You could see the savings.
Yeah, we actually Matt added solar to his house first ago, and then I followed a year later. And we're in the country, so we have a lot of electricity use. We have the house, lights, and air conditioning when we need it in Paso. But we also pump water because we're on a well. We have a swimming pool. There's a pump to run. And it begins to add up. Our bills can be $300, sometimes as high as $800 in a month. I mean, not all the time, but I mean, it gives you an idea. They're
yes.
pretty good amounts.
And so, Matt, once you saw the savings at home, it just was kind of natural, I would imagine, that you decided, whoa, we could be doing the same thing at the winery.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it made sense. It's part of it being sustainable, and it's also sustainable as far as energy usage, but also sustainable as far as economics. It made sense on both fronts.
And it's I enjoyed learning that, and it makes sense that your main energy expenditure at the winery is the chiller that keeps the warehouses cool, where the wines are being stored.
Yeah, definitely. And one aspect to getting the solar was to see how much electricity we actually used for our new facility that we converted from our vineyard management shop over to our main winery, and so we got a year under our belt, seeing how that works, how much usage we went through during harvest, and then we were able to go through and design the solar system based on that. And so, it's really this year, this crush, it definitely cut our electricity bills in half, and then that's during the height of our usage, and now that we're in the winter, the chilling and the cooling is a lot different.
Do you receive any tax benefits from having solar at the winery and at home?
Well, at the winery, for sure, basically what happens is you take the total cost of the project, and then if you receive a grant, that would come off the cost basis of it. But whatever's left that you are paying off, that would be eligible for normal depreciation, like in any equipment. Okay. In the last few years, it's not quite as good this year, and we don't know what's going to happen with the future tax bills, but. Yeah. And there's been some significant benefits for buying newer equipment, and it was part of the, it's an economic recovery program, but it's also good business to get older equipment out. There's been tremendous advances in efficiencies in different equipment, whether it's solar or the equipment that is being run by the electricity. So, there are definitely tax breaks. At home, it's a little different situation. We went with a program called, they call it Sunrun, and I don't know whether there's other companies that have the same type system, but basically it wasn't, whatever tax benefits there might be, the solar company kept, but what they did was they basically own the system and then sell us power so that in effect, financing was part of the package. So the business application and the home application, in terms of how it's actually financed and the tax benefits are different.
Wow. Does it get really hot, like in the upper 90s and even up to 100 in the summertime sometimes for you?
Yeah, it does. I mean, Paso Robles is noted for having one of the widest temperature swings in the United States between the high in the day, which could be over 100, but it might get down to under 60 at night. So a 50-degree swing is not unusual. What's nice about that, besides the fact that wine grapes like that type of a temperature regime, is the fact that we also built into our winery, and we're by no means the only people that are doing this, what's called a night cooling system, so that fans come on and push the warm air out and draw cool air in all night long. So you're taking as much advantage as you can of the natural air conditioning, and when it starts warming up in the day, those louvers all close, and when it gets warm enough, then the chiller system that runs air handlers, that takes over because you need some more help to be able to cover the peak of the day. But night cooling is a big part of it. So it gets very warm, but fortunately it cools off at night.
So I was looking on the website and see that, of course, and it's logical because of where you are, that you make Cabernet, you have Syrah, you have Merlot, you have Chardonnay, you have Viognier, and are you guys a relatively small winery? I mean, like how many cases do you make a year?
We make about 5,500 cases.
Yeah, I was thinking you're really, really artisanal.
Yeah, so we keep kind of our favorite blocks, our favorite lots, sections of the ranch that we like for ourselves, but we still, economically, we sell about 90% of our grapes to other wineries that are in the area here. Okay.
So this 7 generations, or 8 generations, including you, Matt, of farming in the Central Coast, is it all grapes, or do you do other agricultural products?
Well, right now we do all grapes, but as my dad could tell you, he's done many other crops in his lifetime, but also throughout our family's history.
Yeah, our family goes back to the days of the ranchos, so that would have been cattle and sheep. And then we went through a phase where my grandfather had a dairy, because there was a lot of dairies along California's coastal route along 101, serving Los Angeles and San Francisco and other cities like Santa Barbara. And then we tried, I tell people I think I farmed almost every crop that's legal, because we've done walnut, flour, sugar beet, alfalfa, wheat, and into some vegetable crops and so on. So we've done lots of different things on the soils, where we are, and by all means, produce is still a big business along the coast, in the cooler areas where you have beautiful vegetable soils, whether it's in Oceano, Santa Maria, or Salinas. But on the rolling hills with the rolling oaks and non-prime soils, wine grapes have really proven to be a godsend for preserving agriculture, because there really aren't a lot of other crops that can thrive. Maybe 40 years ago, almonds made a pretty good run, but dryland almonds were big in Paso Robles at one time. But today, wine grapes along the Central Coast are really the main crop, and we only raise wine grapes now.
And Matt, real quick here, can people have national distribution and join your wine club?
Yeah, we can ship to pretty much anywhere that allowable by the states right now, but we'll have some distribution in some other states. Okay.
Dana Merrill, Matt Merrill of Pomar Junction Vineyard and Winery, thank you so very much for joining us today on Wine and Dine.
Thanks for having us.
We will have links up for you to learn more, and I thank you for listening. Now you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine, on the web at iWineRadio.com. Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWine Radio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes Radio icon and scroll down to News and Talk Directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWine Radio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there.